Hey everybody, Nick here, and today I want to take a little journey with you through the Spyderco mid-year product guide. This is based on about 50,000 requests. This guy dropped yesterday. It is currently May 31st, and everybody who's not on their way to Blade is asking me what I think about the new products. So just a couple of quick notes here. Spyderco does 2 catalogs a year, usually one in December, one in right about now, and the second one tends to have just a couple of more additional products here, and so I figured I'd give my thoughts on that. Second, I am not going to Blade show. I'm actually really sad about that, honestly. I desperately wish I was not an adult and did not have responsibilities at work that kind of required me to be here. And there's a part of me that desperately wants to sneak off, but it's not happening. So everybody who's at Blade, have a lot of fun. And I wish I was there. But if anyone claims to be Nick Shabazz, not just like wearing the shirt, but like actually trying to sell it, just go ahead and kick him in the nuts. So anyways, there you go. And then finally, let's go on ahead and jump into this guy. Then quick note, the catalog is exactly as it is, except that I've taken the prices off of Blade HQ's website. They've done all the map math and whatnot and put them directly into this. But a lot of these guys are actually available for pre-order through them, so there you go. Learn that. Okay, let's just jump into it. The Amalgam and the Mantra 3, very interesting knives. Both of them are Taichung made compression lock flippers. So Taichung made compression lock flipper is a little scary to me right now because on both the Hanan and the Sliver Axe, the detents were just not there. They were just too damn soft. And I'm really worried, especially in the Amalgam with a blade that's this big, 3.8 inches, that if they don't have that detent just dialed in perfectly, they are going to end up with something where it's borderline maybe dangerous, where it can, like, the blade could actually fall right out of there. I hope desperately that Eric Glesser is over in Taichung right now. Well, he's probably at Blade Show, but yelling at people about getting detent strength up. But the simple fact is that that's kind of my big worry here. If they've got the detent right, this is going to be a really interesting piece, and the price is actually surprisingly good. It's a big old freaking chunk of S30V, carbon fiber, etc. for $175. I think, at this kind of price point, if it's done well and they get that detent right, it's going to be something pretty compelling. But, yeah, there you go. Mantra 3, interesting piece, absolutely 100%. It is basically a compression lock flipper variant of the Mantra 2, or was it the Mantra 1? It was the one with the leafy blade. One thing that does kind of bug me a little bit about this is that they moved away from M4. They've gone from M4 to S30V. S30V is a fine steel. It's good to go. But M4 is a really cool steel, and that was one of the things that made the Mantra different and interesting. So the fact that they took it back down to a very vanilla steel is a little disappointing to me. The price given is $155. Not too bad. But at the same time, it feels like it's a little bit less of a mantra as a result of that, considering the first two were at M4. Whatever, I'm sure it'll be a fine tool for people, but that was a little bit odd. So anyways, both of these guys are going to be good, assuming they can get that action right, and that Taichung gets in the game, so to speak. This guy here, the Tropen, interesting piece. This is one of those knives that I take one look at, and it's just like, I don't know who this was made for, but that person is absolutely not Nick Shabazz. Maybe it's going to appeal more to the people who want the Emerson Wave thing or something. I don't quite know, but yeah, it is another compression lock flipper, so again, I'm hoping Taichung gets that right this time. But nevertheless, it's interesting. One thing that does terrify me, though, is this image right here. So take a look at this. I added the arrow. This right here is the compression lock cutout here. So to unlock this knife, you're going to put your finger here, press down, and then let the blade shut. The problem with this is that this is sharpened edge. So if you do that with this knife, the sharpened edge is going to cut your thumb open, or whatever finger, in my case, usually the index finger, it's going to cut your index finger off. This is not something that Spyderco generally does. They tend to be a company that doesn't release stupid safety flaws. But this is absolutely terrifying. So I hope this is a really early prototype they just took a picture of, and that this is something that's been addressed in a final version. But absolutely check into that beforehand, because if it goes out the door like that, then holy crap, no. That is just bad, even at $188, which isn't so terrible, I guess. But anyways, so this is kind of, on the design, kind of a pass, and this is just like, oy, oy, oy. Hopefully that's not a thing. Smock, Spyderco Smock. I have a review up of the Smock SK23 that this is based on. I have an order in for a Smock SK23. It's been in for a good long time now. We'll see if I ever get it. But anyways, and then I really want this knife, because that way I'll get an SK23. But anyways, it's an S30V titanium. There's no titanium on this guy. Yeah, but it is a compression lock flipper guy, but it's using Smock's kind of front-mounted flipper tab that is really compelling from the SK23. It's using the really, really nice compression lock button lock version, where there's the little thing you press in there. That is really a better approach to compression lock, because in here you have to use like your finger on the side here to kind of pop it closed. There you just press the button, and then the knife can close. It's a really cool choice. I like it a lot, and really, that's excellent. For those of you wondering about the finger choil, like, why do they have that big choil? It's actually a result of the button. If you watch the SK23 video that I've got, you'll see that it's the case that in order for this to close, that button needs to fit inside this little hollow here. So that's why that's there. Whether you like it or not, another question, but that's what's going on. And then the price on this guy is actually pretty good. You're coming in under Benchmade 940 territory, under ZT 450 territory. I feel like if this is done right, if they get the detent right and whatnot, this is going to be a very easy knife for me to recommend and a very common one for me to recommend. So anyways, there you go. And also the stock thickness is pretty reasonable, 0.118. Next guy here. This is the Spyderco Drunken, based on a Dmitry Sienkiewicz sort of custom knife. Same guy who did the ZT 450. Actually, Sienkiewicz has done a lot of work with ZT in the past, so it's interesting to see him doing some work with Spyderco here. He is, but anyways, what they've got here is a full flat grind blade, which is interesting. This may be the first time we see a Sienkiewicz knife that's really designed to slice, or at least that's really ground to slice. ZT, for all of their benefits, just doesn't make knives that cut. They tend to favor a really durable, thick behind the edge sort of approach, and so it'll be nice to see that. It's S90V, which is a high-end steel. It is beautifully milled. A bunch of people are saying, oh, God, Nick, you haven't seen the custom. You haven't seen the milling. You can't imagine this milling. And, I mean, to be fair, this looks like very attractive milling, and it seems to be on the carbon fiber as well. But the thing that, to me, is a little frightening is the price tag. $410 for this guy. Now, look, this is a price that they could conceivably earn, but it is a price that they are going to have to earn. This is in that class of, okay, that's your price. All right, let's see if you get there. Because they're going to have to show real mastery. They're going to have to show everything is going to have to be really perfect for that to be the price tag that's acceptable. Maybe they'll pull it off. Maybe not. I don't know. But either way, it's interesting. It's interesting to see Sienkiewicz working with Spyderco as well. And I hope that we see more of that in the future as well. I like ZT a lot. I like Kershaw and whatnot. But to see him getting spread to companies with different priorities would be nice. This guy is really exciting to me. This is the Capara. This is an $188, which is way easier. It's another carbon fiber compression lock sort of knife. I actually got to handle one of these guys at Blade Show last year, back before I could talk about having gotten to handle one of them. And it is a really, really interesting piece. With the red backspacer and everything, really kind of neat. It's very slicey. It is S30V. It is, I think it's just going to be a great choice for a lot of people. The blade length is it's a little longer than I expected. It's 3.6 inches here. So it's going to be just over some legal lines for some people, but it is a nice little knife, and it is really ground to cut well, and so that's kind of excellent. I'm looking forward to this guy. This used to be called the Redback, by the way. His custom was called the Redback, but I guess they must have had to change it. They might probably like some kind of a conflict or something. So anyways, there you go, $188 Capara. Next guy, the Brower. This is one of the knives I'm most excited about, because this looks like it's going to be a great little tool. It is just an integral lock sort of thing. It's probably running on washes is my expectation here. It has all of the various kinds of things that you would expect and hope here, in that you've got a stainless steel lock bar interface. Looks like you've got yourself a over travel stop. But the thing is, it's just a relatively small little tool knife. Here you've got a 2.77 inch blade, so it's going to be legal in a lot of places with a lot less edge to it. And that gives you good ergonomics on the finger choil. I think that this is probably going to be a sleeper in that not a lot of people are going to be like, oh my God, the Brower. But at another level, I think it's going to be a great tool for a lot of people, particularly folks living in under 3-inch areas. I think this is going to be pretty excellent if everything is done right. So I'm really looking forward to picking one of these guys up and checking it out. But that could be my bias towards smaller knives. That said, my bias towards smaller knives is not so complete that I feel like I understand and desire this. Well, actually, it's not fair. I want to check one out, absolutely 100%, because it's one of those things that's either going to be completely nuts or it's going to be completely nuts and make a lot of sense. I don't have a sense of that in hand here. The blade stock is not crazy. It's .118, and it's XHP, a frame lock, and it's $130, so okay, whatever. But this is a weird little thing. It's coming in, the blade length overall is 1.5 inches. That's going to make it legal in a lot of places, but yeah. So anyways, that's going to be a knife I'm curious about. It's one I'm not sure I understand, but maybe I don't have to. Next up here, two very interesting pieces. One is the Techno 2. I like the Techno a lot, but the problem is the blade was a little too thick and it wasn't really ground to cut that well. This is a Techno, except the blade is thinner, and it's ground to cut that well. That's a beautiful freaking thing. They have moved from backspacer to standoffs, which is not really doing it for me, I'll be honest with you there. I did like the spacer a lot on the Techno, but this is another design by Martin Sleesh, who... both of my Sleesh knives are in the other room, and it's actually apparently Martin Swish or something like that, but I'm sorry, guys, I can't say anything else at this point. But anyways, it's a... It's going to be super interesting, and I'm really looking forward to checking one of these guys out and to see whether this is a Techno that I can really, truly fall in love with. On the other side is something completely huge and crazy. This is the Subvert. It's by Nadia Moore, which really sounds like a burlesque dancer's name. I'm sorry, Nadia Moore. But anyways, that's completely out of line. Anyways, back to Reg. This is a big old freaking knife, guys. This is a 4.14 inches blade stock here. Not blade stock. It's not a Medford. 4.14 inch blade. Blade stock is 0.15 inches thick. That's some pretty thick stuff going on here. This knife on the whole is going to be pretty crazy in terms of the thickness. The liners themselves are 0.118 inches. This is kind of, I think, along the lines of the Spyderco PPT, where it's going to be one of those really beefy liner sorts of affairs. It's fine, it's swelled, it's good. They need to make sure the balance is okay, because on the PPT, the balance got pretty weird. But, I'm really curious about it, mostly because, honestly, I find it freaking gorgeous. Absolutely 100% beautiful. This is a gorgeous design, and I'm looking forward to checking it out, but I'm also a little bit skeptical. It might be a little too chubby of a bunny for my taste. By the way, the Techno was $215, which is a lot of money, but if it's made as well as the first one, I can see it. This guy is $305, which, given this is a lot of freaking material. Oh, and by the way, the steel is S35 or S30V, that is. So there you go. Both of these are Taichung. In fact, everything we've looked at so far is from the Taichung, Taiwan factory. All right, whatever. Okay, finally, here's a USA knife. This is the Autonomy 2. This is Spyderco's automatic. It's $180. It's an automatic knife, which means that it's going to be a pain in the neck to buy, at least directly from Spyderco. One interesting aspect, though, that I did not initially notice about this is the steel. This is LC200N. And I think that's actually a really great choice. If you're looking at this as being something that is... sort of automatics are very often portrayed, at least by Spyderco, but I think for a lot of people, as good for police duty, because all you have is a single button and the knife fires out there. This is, LC200N, I think, is a really nice choice for that, because I think it's a great all-around steel. Incredible rust resistance, making this guy maybe a little saltier than some, although it's probably not, like all the innards may not be salt resistant. But still, it's going to be very easy to maintain, hold an edge well. I love LC200N. Seeing it on this knife, especially at that price, makes this probably 90% more entertaining and interesting to me. But probably the most interesting piece for me so far, yeah, I'd say so, actually, is the Paisan. The Spyderco Paisan is sort of the follow-up to the Rosenti Nirvana. This is a Spyderco Resenti Nirvana. This is one that has actually been reground, such that the blade has, basically somebody's gone at this blade to really thin it out, to redo the finish, and to make it so that it will actually cut. Because the Nirvana was a knife where I absolutely loved the handle, the integral construction, because it's just one piece of titanium here, but I absolutely disliked the blade. It was this big old hunk of, pry-bar-y, saber grind sort of thing. This guy, I feel like, looking at videos, etc., they have fixed the issues of the Nirvana. They have learned from what they did there, and they have made it all, they've done better. I'm hearing that this has a really nice stonewashy sort of finish on the blade. I hope that's there in the final versions. It's got a full integral titanium handle here. It's got a blade shape that's very nice. A sheep's footy blade can be really great. I'm hearing it's ground well to cut. I really hope that's the case, because that'll be great. That'll make that a much more usable, well, okay, the Nirvana was a perfectly usable tool, but only for some use cases. For people who like slicey, and I think a lot of people ended up regrinding theirs and getting something way better, but you pay a lot higher price for it. And then overall, just looks like a really, really nice piece. The blade length on this guy is coming in still at 3.88 inches. So this is not a small knife. I was at some level hoping this would be maybe under 3.5 to give people a nice option in that domain. But look, it's gonna be really, really nice. It had better be really, really nice, though, because the price tag is $520. Holy crap. That's a high price. The thing is, though, okay, just work with me for a second here. A lot of people have had trouble, I think, when a production company that usually works in the lower price brackets jumps up there. The thing is, think about putting some of the Chinese companies aside, like We Knives and whatnot. Think about what would be out there. If this knife were made by Chris Reeve, for instance, what would you be expecting to pay? Honestly, for a full integral sort of thing, for S90V, etc., with a nice grind and whatnot, I don't think $520 is something a lot of people would balk at coming from a manufacturer like that we're used to paying higher prices for. So I think if they've done, this is going to be another one of those prices, like on the Drunken, where they're going to have to do it right. If they're cutting corners, if there are any issues with it, it's going to be like, guys, really? And by the way, lock bar insert. So hopefully that'll knock down some of the lock stick that some people experience with this guy. On this guy, the lock stick is all but gone, and for a lot of people that did go away, but still. And by the way, actual pretty clip and whatnot, rather than this, acid mess. Mess. It's a fine clip. Whatever. But anyways, this is a price they're going to have to earn, but I think that the Taichung factory is going to be capable of earning it. They do good work. They just need to make sure that everything is on point for that price to feel okay. So, there you go. And then a couple of other things here. I mean, the latter part of the catalog's a little less interesting. Hey, Little Natives in Black, hooray. They've done the Salt series with Warnie blades, which is cool. I think they've done the Hawkbill sort of blades before, but now we get Warnies. This is the Province, which is a $260 knife. It's in 4V. It's a big old honkin' fixed blade, 6.76-inch blade, bunch of G10. Could be really interesting. I'm more curious than anything about the 4V. I've heard great things about 3V. I'm wondering if 4V is one better. We'll see. And then the Spyderco Steel Hatchet Hawk. I'm sorry, Spyderco Hatchet Hawk here. I mean, seriously, they've made a knife that is half maul and half hatchet. Okay. $175, that's good at least. They're not giving the steel, are they? Oh, $51.60, okay, fine. I don't entirely understand why Spyderco is releasing this, but hey, why not, right? Maybe they'll do proof tests. And then they put some colors on some birds, which is cool. Birds are often colorful, makes sense, right? They've got a Burl G10 option for the Mannix here, S90V, black, okay, whatever. Pair of 3 in the Rex 45 steel. It's very similar to the Hap 40 sort of thing that we've seen already. Cool. Why not? And then here is the final page with another picture. See, okay, look at this. Look at this, guys. Look at this. Take a look at that freaking blade. That's impressive. If that is really what the blade looks like, they might be earning that price point. So anyways, yeah, there you go. Hope this has been interesting to you and that you have yourselves just an absolutely wonderful rest of your day. And if you're going to Blade Show, do have fun. I really, really wish I could have made it. Anyways, bye, everybody.